right, everybody. I am excited to be here. You know, every time I do a show, I be fully lit from the inside out because it is my heart's desire to do these shows, to bring people on, to allow you to see that we look good on the outside, but we have endured some things on the inside. I already know it is your girl, Latiska Powell, author of We Have Powerful DNA. You can always catch the show on YouTube, Facebook Live, and my special guest today is Joevan J. Palmer. I don't know if you know him. I know a lot about this dude because he's all on my phone. He is on my phone daily giving me inspiration. Because in order for me to be an inspiration from anybody, I have got to have inspiration poured into me. He is a native of Syracuse, New York. He lives in Atlanta now. He graduated from Winston-Salem State University. He received his master's in social work, and he concentrated in trauma from, I forgot that part. It was two of them, y'all. He's been to two schools, Columbia. Don't worry about it. He gonna come on here and tell us. He serves as a therapist to teens, moms, and men who have been traumatized in their life experience. He's a healing coach and an entrepreneur, and he hosts Vulnerable Moments, the podcast. You must check it out because I do. And he's an overcomer. So, Joevan, please come in and tell us a little bit about you.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, life. You know how it is. You know how we do.
For sure. Life itself.
Mm-hmm. Now, can you tell us a little? Now, we know your background. You're from Syracuse. How long did you live there?
So I lived in Syracuse for about 16 years. So from birth to 16, I was born and raised there.
Okay. And what made you move to Atlanta?
My parents, so we moved to North Carolina first. My mom just kind of wanted to get out of Syracuse. It was a little rough. She's always wanted something different, and the South was always in her heart. So she and my dad moved us down to North Carolina, and then I stayed in North Carolina to finish school. They moved to Atlanta. After I graduated in 2012, I could not find a job. So I said, my parents is here, my sister's here, so why not come to Atlanta? So I came down to Atlanta, and here we are.
Okay. Do you like it better than Syracuse? It's different, so you get a different perspective.
Yeah, it was a slower pace when I first got to the South, because the furthest south I've ever been was Virginia, so it's kind of like still northern-ish a little bit. So it's a little bit of slow pace, but it took some time to get adjusted to. But I love it now. I would probably never move. I'll never move back to Syracuse. Visit, yes. Move back, no.
Okay, I do understand. What got you into the social work and the therapist side? You know, what brought you to evolve into who you are right now?
Yeah, so for me, it was more so passion for me. I've always worked with kids, always like giving back, always enjoyed, just the thought of helping somebody make their lives better. I was always a friend that people would go to, they would lean on. And once upon a time, I wanted to be a psychologist back in like when I was a kid. And I was told, find a job that makes you good money and this and the third. So I was wound up chasing money for a little bit and found that I wasn't happy. And when I found out I wasn't happy, I said, okay, I got to go do some passion work. And I got fired from a corporate job while on vacation one day and up visiting my grandparents in Syracuse. And for some reason, I was not upset about it. I think it was the first time I ever been let go and I was at peace. I was on vacation visiting my grandparents. When I found out, I was down in the basement talking to my grandfather, and he was just like, don't worry about a job. They come a dime a dozen. So when I got back to Atlanta, I said, God, put me in a place of passion. So I applied for every job working with youth that I can find, got rejection after rejection, and finally got a yes. And I excelled in the interview. I struggled a little bit when I first got into the field because I come from a corporate background, but it was just a minor adjustment. I think personality and character carried you a long way. So the guy who's my friend to this day who hired me, Kenneth Burton, he was more so like, I like the way you presented yourself. You were very well documented. So I took a chance on you. And I'm thankful that he took a chance on me because that led me to where I am today.
Amen. So the traumas, the things that you had to overcome.
Yeah. So
I'm a firm believer. Let me tell you this. I cannot teach you what I don't know. And I know that life gives us wisdom to share with other people. We have to have the experience to be able to even try to attempt to see the darkness of another and shine the light on it. So
Absolutely.
tell us some of the things that you had to overcome.
Yeah, so at the age of 12, I was molested by someone who was very close to me. And that was like the change in the trajectory of my life where I just pretty much lost myself. I lost, my identity. I lost, just trying to figure out who I was in this world. Like we live in a very immense world where there's so many people, so many things that we can do. And I've always questioned, God, I always questioned myself, I always questioned the world, like, why me? Why did that have to happen to me? And I kept that secret in my life for probably about 10, it's probably about 10 years, just held to myself, and people never really understood why I was so standoffish towards people, why, I didn't like being around certain people, why, I was so angry and all times. I was just holding and hoarding all this in. I was doing like a lot of suppressing over the years and didn't know it. It was that's just the way life panned out for me. And I met my ex girlfriend at the time in college. I don't know how we got on the conversation, but we were just talking about it, and she had encouraged me to say, you know what? It was more like an encouragement slash like an ultimatum, like, hey, like you need to take parents. I was like, nah, I'm good, keep to myself. And she's like, if you don't tell them, I don't know how our relationship's gonna look, how it's gonna look. So I was like, at the time, you're a college kid, you don't want to lose your girl, your college sweetheart, whatever it may be. So Christmas break, I told my parents what happened to me, and that kind of brought us closer together, but also kind of separated us a little bit at the same time because it got them to understand who Joevan was as a child versus who he is as an adult. And also it's just I felt there still wasn't like a lack there was a lack of support at the time, but as I grew older I understood my parents just didn't know how to support me in that space of my life. And while working at the group home, a lot of the kids we had to take them to therapy every Tuesday, and I had the opportunity to sit in on their sessions, just kind of make sure they weren't suicidal or they didn't say anything like far left. And I really was like, yo, that's an amazing thing. Because I've never been to therapy at all in my life. And I just had so much that was just building, that was weighing on my shoulder, that was weighing on me. I dibbled and dabbled in homosexuality once upon a time as well. And that was weighing on me. The molestation was weighing on me. The identity crisis that I was dealing with was weighing on me. Just my masculinity was weighing on me. It was just so much just laying on me that I just felt like I couldn't get it off my shoulders. And I had asked the therapist, if we could see each other, if it was okay, because, I don't want to make sure that it didn't interrupt, the work that she was doing with the kids and everything. She was like, yes, we can have a separate appointment. I got with her office assistant, scheduled my first appointment, and I was just online researching what therapy's like, and I wanted the full experience. And so I went there, laid on the couch, like how we see on TV and everything, and I laid it all out. I had wanted to get it out so bad, I just laid it all on her, and we paused for a moment, and she said, thank you for getting that off your chest. Is that it? And I was like, yeah, that's it. And she was just like, let me know, like, you're perfectly normal. This is a part of life that you're not the only person experiencing. And I thought I was for the longest. And my first homework assignment that she gave me was to tell 5 of my closest friends everything that I had told her, but just not in the way that I told her. And I was like, I'm not doing that. It was hard enough coming to you to tell all this, but I'm not doing that.
It to the limit.
Huh?
You're pushing me to the limit now.
Me to the limit. She pushed, like, to this day, she pushes me to my limit. She pushes my buttons because she knows who I am. Like, we've known each other for almost 5 years now. So I was happened to be in a group chat with 5 of my closest friends at the time. So I was just like, all right, I'm just do it. I'm gonna text them. And I texted them, and then the response was just a beautiful response. It was like, I'm glad you're in therapy. One of my friends was like, I think I kind of knew. Another friend was like, man, I appreciate you telling me this. If you need us, we're here for you. And it was just like an outpouring of love and support that I felt like I've never received before in my life. And, the next was me telling my best friend, because like my best friend's my best friend. We don't hold any secrets from each other. And it was kind of hard for me to tell her because I felt bad for holding that from her. But I felt like she deserved to know, as my best friend, she deserved to know. And so I flew out to Vegas where she is, and we talked, we went out, grabbed some drinks. I said, we got to talk. She said, what kind of talk? I said, we're going to need some drinks for this one. So we had some drinks, and she cried, I cried, and it was another outpouring of love that I just needed. And from there, I just got more confident in sharing my story, and I got more comfortable in sharing my story, and hence why I have my podcast today, where it helps people overcome the traumas that they've gone through and just pretty much just get off their chest, because a lot of people, they're just not open to therapy right now, but they are awesome to talking to somebody that they know. So
Mhm.
I offer my platform to people to come on to talk about their traumas, what they've gone through, and how they can just help somebody else. How my story helped thousands of people, and one day I pray that it reaches millions of people to help them. I just hope that it touches one life.
Well, I do understand because that's why I do this. This show started off as the Good God Hour,
Mm,
and then I changed it from the Good God Hour to In the Flow because in the flow means it happens. Life
yeah,
happens.
it does.
It's what you do with life once it begins to happen and
Absolutely.
how to release what has happened to you. Because I'm like this. Why not you?
Yeah.
You were the perfect person for it to happen to.
Hmm.
Because the people that you're attached to, do you understand what you're doing to the people that are attached to you? Just your healing, just you healing and the words that are flowing out of your mouth that are pure love
Yeah.
to help assist someone else.
And
And
it's
then
just
those people touching more
yeah.
people because of you. So why
Mhm.
not you? Why not that little bit of pain to bring so much pleasure, to bring
Yeah.
so much healing, to open so many hearts? And be that, embrace, okay, this is who I am. It's
Mhm.
okay. It's okay that I was in pain, but it's also, I think people should understand no one can help you unless you open your mouth.
That's true.
I cannot read your mind.
Hmm.
I can present a table for us to sit down and hold a communication. But if you don't open your mouth, I don't know what to do. And I
That's right.
can't fight with something. That's fighting something that you cannot win
Yeah.
because it's your birthright to speak. It's your birthright to say. That's how you heal. You relieve yourself of all of that
Mhm.
grind. Get it out. Get it out. If you have to write it on paper, say it to who you have to say it to. Forgive yourself. Forgive those that hurt you, and find a way to be love
Absolutely.
in a world that may not see it the same way.
Hmm.
And you got to understand, people do what has been done to them a lot of times.
Oh, for sure.
You hear people say hurt people, hurt people. It's
Hmm.
not necessarily, and it's generational hurt too now.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not just, it's not just this one individual. No, this one individual came from trauma,
Hmm. Yeah.
generations of it. And so now they're working through they're going through their spiritual journey, dropping those things that do not serve them
Yeah.
and understanding who they are more and more each day, that is not who I am. I'm recovering within my own heart
Absolutely.
who I was created to be. Can you give us some tips? Because you give me tips every day. I promise you do. And it'd be like the thing that I need to hear
Yeah,
at that
absolutely.
moment. And I'm like, you know what? Thank you, God, for him. I always say, thank you, God, for him.
I'm
Because it's
thankful.
always what I need to hear.
I'm grateful. Thank you so much. Some tips is more so really just finding community. That was like one of the biggest things for me is just finding community that you can trust and just kind of staying around people who kind of keep your spirits uplift, but also hold you accountable. Because I think for me, it was trying to figure it out all on my own all the time and having my sense of independence because I've been an independent child since like I was a kid. And that
Mhm.
kind of just grew with me. And so I think being in community is like one of the biggest helps, finding a therapist or a coach who specializes in the very exact thing that you're going through. Not somebody that says, oh, I'm a coach or I'm a therapist, because that's a very broad statement alone. Even though
Mhm.
it's one word, it's very broad. So
Mhm.
having someone who specializes in what you are going through to actually help you. Don't be afraid, like you said, to ask for help. To cry out for help. I'm not saying that you have to be the one on social media crying and woe is me, but find a friend find a friend or phone a friend who's willing to just walk with you. Sometimes you just need somebody's presence to just sit there and just kind of just say, hey, this is what I'm going through, and I just need you to listen sometimes. Or sometimes they just maybe a response. Me and my best friend, we do this thing. We call each other, hey, I need some advice. And our response is, do you need me to just listen or do you need me to respond and give advice? What do you need? And we tell, hey, this is what I need. So you have to find people who can meet your need language. What do I need from you? Like, I need presence. I need, words of affirmation. I need love. I need, attention. I need, community. Some other tips are journaling. I found journaling is one of the best therapy things you can do just to get it out of you because you're holding it in. You have these subconscious thoughts, you have these intrusive thoughts that come to you, and you're always thinking, oh, I'm the bad person, or this is happening, it's going to happen again. Some other things is yoga. I've started doing 30 minutes of yoga every day, hitting the gym. That helps, get some of the endorphins out of your body. Meditation is very, very, very good. I do 30 minutes of meditation every morning when I can get up at the right time. I do 30 minutes of meditation. Those are just a few tips to kind of get started. And after that, I find you just kind of find your own thing after you start, just testing trial and error, just really just testing things out, tweaking it, and finding how it works best for you.
And this is one of the things that I tell a lot of people. It is so serious that you stand in the mirror, because we like to play the blame game. The reason why is because of this. You got to stand in the mirror and you got to see the part that you played in everything. Because if you value and honor people being in your life, you got to know what you're giving them. Absolutely. So that you can understand why you're receiving what you're receiving. And just being okay, well, this is who I am. This is who I am. Like Latiska, me, 50 years, I have done it all. You know what I'm saying? I've done a lot of things. And I found myself at 48, 47, 48, tired of being Superwoman. And I wanted to be soft, and I wanted to be gentle, and I wanted to be held, and I wanted to be, I wanted to be a lot of things. Other than this massive force walking through the world, and I could do it all, and I'm what did they say? I can multitask. Well, I don't want to multitask. I want my brain, because first of all, the brain operates very well, but it really operates when you focus on one thing at a time.
Absolutely.
For me to focus on several things at a time is taking me into a place of stress, anxiety, frustration, and to understand that you're doing these things to yourself. Anybody making you do this? The same way you say yes, you can say no.
And there you go. That's simple. That's become one of my favorite words, because I've been that person who I felt as if it made me feel better if I just help, give, be around, say yes. And it was just, I realized that I was doing more harm to myself than good. And then I've learned how to set appropriate boundaries with people, including my family, including my closest friends. It's just, there's times where you're going to need time to yourself, and you can't be there for everybody, because you're pouring from an empty cup. You need some time to recharge. You need people to recharge you, or you need to recharge yourself. So there's times where I don't leave my house for an entire weekend because I just need to relax and I need to rest. And I found that there's nothing wrong with that.
And I'm so happy you said it, because sometimes I wonder, because I unplug. I unplug to the point where I won't pick up my phone. I don't turn on the television. I don't listen to music. I just stop allowing anything to come into me, so I can just be quiet.
Yeah, just be still. Be still. I go outside. I'll take a walk without my phone. I'll leave my phone at the house, because I know my way. I know where I'm going, and I just know, like, if I go out, I'll be okay. I go for a walk. So of course, during the daytime is when I'm going out my phone, of course. And I'll just go for a walk, and I'll talk to God. I'll talk to myself. I'll talk to my spirit. I would talk to my younger self. I'll talk to my future self, and just have these conversations. Or sometimes I'll just be there and be in silence. I'll go walk and find a little nature trail, and be in all of just God's handiwork. It's just, there's so many healing things that you can use out here that can pretty much help you in whatever situation you're going through. But I think oftentimes we don't find time for stillness. We don't find time to just be alone with ourselves, because we feel as if people is going to be the prescription that we need to make ourselves feel good. And sometimes you are all you need to make yourself feel good. That's it. Because when you realize that you are enough, that you can overcome and conquer anything, that's when you realize your superpower. That's when you become Superman or Superwoman to yourself. And that's where your cup is full, to where you can now pour into others.
Amen. And I do agree with that. I'm going to say one more thing that I learned a couple of years ago. I used to read Thoreau. Have you ever heard of Thoreau?
No.
I used to read. And he said, in order to remain balanced, you look up for an hour into the sky, and you look down for an hour at the ground to remain balanced. Because sometimes we can be so high till we forget, the lower parts of us. And that's kind of keeping your chakras in alignment as well.
Yeah.
You want to be in that middle place because you know there's duality, you know there's a pull in life, left and right, good and bad, and then understanding that these things are only perceptions,
Absolutely.
taught behaviors. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, you look up, you look down, and you do that, and you do it mindfully. You know,
Absolutely.
mindfully do it. That
Mm-hmm.
way you can be that mediator that your friends, your family, your clients, or whoever may need. You can be in that middle space and not be so swayed. You
Oh,
know,
for
you can
sure.
see it from a higher perspective. And a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times we don't like to see from a higher perspective.
Yeah, we know. And that same analogy, I use that for people as well, as far as the people you need to have in your life. You need to have somebody you look up to. You need to have somebody that's on that same level as you, who are right there in the trenches with you, and somebody who you can mentor and give back to. Yeah, I feel like, when you have that, you have a better and a broader perspective on life, because there's somebody who's been through all the things that you've been through and you're trying to get through. There's somebody who's right there with you who understands, because sometimes the people who've gone through, they've gone through, sometimes they just kind of forget sometimes. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. It's just they've gotten past that part of their life, that stage of their lives, but they're trying to pick you up. They don't want you living that forever. And then when we find somebody who's able, we can mentor. It's just we help them accelerate their lives a lot 10 times faster sometimes, where they can get through the things. I feel like when we give back to people, we give back to others, and we share our stories and we share the things, our life experiences, that helps people to accelerate their pains. And I feel like, I'm not saying that there's a fast track to healing, but there is a fast track to healing where you can
Mm,
pretty much overcome the things a lot quicker than you think you can. I feel like when you're honest with yourself, when you trust yourself, when you begin to trust others, that's how you start accelerating. When you say, you know what, Joevan, I trust you today. And a lot of people, at times, we don't say that out loud to ourselves. I look at myself dead in the mirror, and I do these things called naked affirmations, where I'm fully naked, unclothed, and I affirm myself, because I'm a plus size guy who now, because of my trauma, I've put on weight and everything like that. And I need to affirm myself. I need to know that, Joevan, you love yourself before you want somebody else to love you, that they need to know that you love you. So I tell
mm,
myself every day, I love you. You are beautiful. You are handsome. You are a king. You are a chosen one. You are royal priesthood. I tell myself everything I need to tell myself that I need to feel for that day. And that's what charges me up. That's what energizes me throughout the day. And just a reminder of who I am. If
yeah.
you don't know who you are, you'll fall for anything.
I agree with that. That's one of the things that I do. And I just did a conference and I told the ladies, I says, for some reason, men and women do not understand that they're made in the image of God.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we stand in those mirrors and we tear our temples down. We are the temple.
Mm-hmm.
You should be the main person building your temple up. You should be comfortable in your own skin. I don't care what you look like, you look good to God. And
Mm-hmm.
society may tell you should look like something else.
Right.
But your life has given you the authority to look the way that you look because of the things that you've
Absolutely.
endured. You understand? I used to
Mm-hmm.
be almost 300 pounds and I've lost weight.
You
And
look
I've
good.
lost weight being happy
Yeah.
with just me. You know what I'm saying? Just being happy and looking back, saying all the things, seeing what I've gone through and seeing how things always worked out
Mm-hmm.
and learning how to drop the people and drop the things that would cause me frustrations and all of that. And as I did that, guess what? The weight just fell off. Now, is it what society would say is fine? Probably not. But guess what? Who is finer than a mug to herself?
Hello. There you go.
And that's just I'm finer than a mug to myself. I
There
don't
you
need nobody to validate me. And I look in the mirror and I also say, I love you, Letiska. I value you, Letiska. I
go. Mm-hmm.
trust you. You are the bomb, Letiska. High five myself in the mirror. Sometimes I do it twice.
There you
Because
go.
you are the bomb.com. You made it.
Mm-hmm.
You made it. And just to know that I used to be a drug addict. I used to be an alcoholic. I
Would have
used to
never
be a
known.
what? I used to be so angry. And to find my heart open and willing to be loved,
Mm-hmm.
even though I hadn't always received it,
Yes.
and then to forgive those people that didn't know how to love properly, and to forgive myself for accepting love that wasn't even for me, but it
Mm-hmm.
was for me to learn something about myself.
Absolutely.
And so going through that back and forth, and saying, woe is me, woe
Mm-hmm.
is me. And it's my choices and my decisions that have gotten me where I am. Not
Yeah.
always forced, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times chosen. You know?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I do appreciate you for coming on to the show. Can you give us a few ways that we can? I know we on Instagram,
Oh, for sure.
vulnerable moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can find me on social media, Joevan J Palmer, JoevanJPalmer. You can also text me 404-476-6780. I send out daily affirmations and just little tips of encouragement every day. Just text me the word heal or affirmation, or you can text me both of those simultaneously, and you'll be on my text list. We send out text messages every day, 9 a.m. EST, and they come 7 days a week. And I'll leave you this one thing: is life is far from over. Whatever you do, don't give up, don't give in, just stay in your race. That's it.
Amen. Thank you so much, and I want to thank God again for you,
Thank you.
because it takes us
Mm-hmm.
to heal someone else, but then to
Absolutely.
realize in the process of us healing, we still healing. God dog. How
Every
they
day.
work? We still healing while we're healing others.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot, I want to ask you this because I have clients.
Uh-huh.
Do your clients heal you?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
you
for
think the session is for them, and you find out, wait a minute, hold up, you
sure.
done turned this thing around, and I done figured out something about myself right now.
Absolutely, all the time. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, as people who were healers or were clinicians or whatever we want to call ourselves, that don't find it that you have. I've had to realize that, hey, you may not have all the answers. Sometimes you find your answers in the people that you work with.
That's right. And your clients, it has, even when I was a cab driver, people would get in the car and teach me something.
Mm-hmm.
It's real. Like
Yeah,
we really reflect off one another.
absolutely.
We
That's
are
a,
master teachers one minute and master students the next.
there you go. Mm-hmm.
All right, be still. I'll be right back.